And now for your starting lineups. Starting this evening for the Hornets, at guard, sophomore number 1, Emily Williams. At guard, senior number 2, Maddie Kimball. At guard, junior number 3, Therese Green. At guard, junior number 22, Gabby.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's broadcasting for another edition of Southern Virginia University Athletics here in the barn in beautiful Buena Vista, Virginia. Tonight's women's basketball matchup is between the Hornets of Shenandoah University and your Knights of Southern Virginia. I'm Dawson Weidrich, and joining me tonight is my good friend and Southern Virginia softball assistant coach, Colby Kemp. And this match between two teams that have really started off the year strong and have taken the reins of their respective conferences. First and foremost, Colby, great to have you here with us tonight.
Hey, it's great to be back, Dawson. It's been a while since we've had an opportunity to work together, but I'm excited to be back here in the barn to watch some women's basketball, and especially this game that pits the number 1 team in the ODAC versus the number 1 team in the USA South right now.
And you know, you couldn't stay away from me too long, Colby, but you're absolutely right. But these two teams, top of their respective conferences, doing a great job so far this year, like you mentioned. Shenandoah in the ODAC, Southern Virginia in the USA South, and both teams having brief moments of, you know, getting a loss for Southern Virginia was against Mary Washington, and then for Shenandoah, they had a 2-game losing streak against Mary Washington, who they lost to by 1 just a couple weeks ago, and then followed up by a loss by 13 to Catholic University. But since then, they have been on a roll, and a lot of that is due to number 50, Shawnice Campbell, who is the ODAC Player of the Week last week. Absolutely played lights out, shot 16 for 17 from the floor, 94% over a 2-game span, and having 19 rebounds, and just absolutely being a dominant force for the Hornets. She's going to be a headache for the Knights tonight.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to put the Knights defense to task. You know, but you can't just look at it as one player is going to have to hold her down. It's going to take a team effort, you know, some help defense coming down, and a variety of players. You know, probably a lot of switches and stuff. Mix up the looks that she gets and who's guarding her throughout the game.
And starting off first, defending her will be Asia Foster, along with the rest of the Southern Virginia starting 5, Maria Savoon, Addison Newman, Abigail Snyder, and Alyssa Weiland. And starting off with the ball is the Hornets, and starting for them is Emily Williams, Maddie Kimball, Therese Green, Gabby Kristofliak, and of course, Shawnice Campbell, as we mentioned before. Hornets working the ball around the perimeter, trying to get into the paint. Campbell working the high post, great passing, great awareness there. Drive baseline up, blocked by Asia Foster, and recovered by Southern Virginia. And just like that, the matchup in the paint being very present early on. Here's Savoon for 3. Off the side, no good. Rebounded by Weiland. Double dribble there, an unforced turnover. And Colby, you and I were talking before the game that if Southern Virginia wants to win this one of the key factors has got to be limiting turnovers.
Yeah, we looked that up. 26.4 turnovers so far on the season. And tonight, if they're going to be in this game, they're going to have to keep that to 15 or less, I believe. Absolutely,
because you mentioned turnovers per game. For Shenandoah, they average about 16 and a half. Campbell getting the good positioning there, able to get the pass over top of Asia Foster, and that's why Campbell has such a high shooting percentage, because she gets high-quality looks in the paint just by position. Match working around the outside. Try passing inside to Newman. It's going to be out of bounds off the foot of Emily Williams, the sophomore from Thurmont, Maryland. Knights inbounding. Weiland wanting the 3. Kicks back out to Foster for the mid-range jumper. That is good, and Southern Virginia ties it up. That's a good sign right there, Dawson. If Asia can knock some of those shots down, it'll be great to force Shawnice Campbell to have to play some defense. And they're going to have to play defense on her because, again, she just turned around off of the glass, able to knock it down. And, you know, we were talking, Colby, before this game that Southern Virginia's main thing they need to do in order to come out on top against the Hornets is be disruptive in the paint. And you allude to the idea of multiple defenders. And, again, Asia Foster getting the open look in the paint, tying it back up at 4 apiece. But again, you got to rotate some people in there. You got Ruth Kempler you can also bring in there, as well as Regina Woodley, and as well as even, you know, Haley Page, who we saw have a lot of minutes against Mary Washington, knocked away by Foster. Savoon trying to advance up ahead to Snyder, pass a little too far. And again, a lot of that goes back to what we're talking about, unforced turnovers.
Yep. So far, that's 2 right off the bat. You know, here in the first 2 minutes, 12 seconds, you know, both unforced, especially that pass there, trying to sneak it in where there wasn't a whole lot to be gained, honestly, you know, by trying to make that pass.
We see Haley Page checked in for Southern Virginia. Campbell turning around for the jumper. That is good. She is 3 for 3 so far. But again, you talk about trying to make a pass that isn't there. That's kind of been a frustrating thing for both Lynette and Brett Schroeder, coaches for Southern Virginia. You know, I've talked to them after the first couple of games. They said, we're just trying to make passes that we've never tried to do before in practice or in games ever. And it's caused us to have all these turnovers. That one goes out of bounds. They're going to say it goes out of bounds off of Campbell. Actually, they're going to change up the call. I think the ref came in and corrected the ref down on the baseline, which I think it was the correct call. Campbell didn't really touch with her hands.
Yeah, it looked like it bounced off Asia Foster a couple times there, so I was a little surprised to see the initial call go the Knights' way. But like you, I believe the ref got that one correct.
Newman with it now. Goes up strong with a layup. Up, no good. Rebounded by the Hornets, but great work there from Newman. Foster defending Campbell. Campbell up strong through the defense. She is 4 for 4. She continues her hot shooting streak. Hornets now with an 8-4 lead. Foster's got that athleticism. She could try to use that to her advantage. She is tripped up that time by Emily Williams.
You know, even though that's a foul there on Emily Williams, Dawson, that's something I think I'd like to see the Knights defensive players do with Campbell. You know, somebody that's off, you know, guarding somebody else, sneak in and apply a little bit of extra pressure there.
Absolutely, they're trying to get Page in the low post. She comes out to the outside. Trying to kick it out to Savoon. It's going to roll out of bounds. Trying to pass the ball while jumping in the air. That's not necessarily something you advise your players to do, because at that point your options are limited. Either land, call the travel, you throw it under pressure, most likely goes out of bounds for a turnover, and we'll see Ruth Kempler come in to defend Campbell. And Kempler's had a good start to this year so far. She had a couple of 20-point games and actually has done a really great job of getting down the floor in fast break. Deep three that time. No good. Rebounded by Page. The three was attempted by number 2, Maddie Kimball. That was the first three-point attempt of the game for the Hornets. Snyder, great head fake. Trying to kick it to the outside to Kempler. And she really had her defender on ice skates that time.
Yes, she did.
Inbounded to Kempler. Savoon wanted the paint cleared out. She's going to take it one-on-one, kick out to Newman. And she moves her pivot foot, trying to pass it to Page. And that is indeed a travel. You know, Newman's one of the players we really want to see start to come into her own this year. You know, last year she provided really great minutes, had a couple of really stellar games. But so far this year, shooting-wise, it's been a real struggle for her. She has not been able to make a single three-pointer on the year so far. Rebounded again by Page. Newman trying to go up against Campbell. It is out of bounds.
And again, that travel called against Newman that last possession, that's just one of those turnovers where, you know, she was on that pivot, hanging that pivot, and then took a step with it.
Trying to get inside to Newman, up with the left hand and in. Great pass from Snyder. So the Knights getting a much needed bucket, trying to make sure that Shenandoah can't go on a roll too early. Here's a three, up, off the back of the rim, no good, brought down by Newman. He's got multiple defenders around her. Kempler going down the floor. I'm gonna call a travel here. Kind of hard to see that one if I'm being brutally honest with you. It seemed like she had put the ball on the floor in decent amount of time. But we're gonna see a substitution here. Coming in for Shawnice Campbell is number 23, Sydney Shepos. Good strip there from Snyder. Gets it out to Newman. The Knights needed to take advantage of the absence of Campbell this time. Taking a hesitation step on that pump fake, and that's something we tend to see a lot with this level of college basketball and women's, is that there are a lot of players who will catch the ball, then make a jump stop, or they'll catch the ball and then take a couple quick steps, then dribble. And refs are, I've said this before on multiple broadcasts, that refs are really keying on that this year, more than previous years, I feel like.
I think so. Probably trying to clean up that game just a little bit. You turn that on, you see some of those travels. But Dawson right now, you know, we're 5 minutes, 18 seconds into this game. Shenandoah leads it by 2. And so far, I like the energy that we're seeing from the Knights. But, you know, our biggest point of the game is right now the Knights with 7 turnovers in those first 5 minutes to just 3 turnovers by Shenandoah, which that's probably more than Shenandoah would like to have to this point, those 3 turnovers. But, you know, so it just shows again, you know, that's 4 possessions that they've lost right now to Shenandoah, and they're sitting 2 points behind. So, you know, you turn a couple of those possessions into shots at least. You'd like to think you'd make, you know, a shot. And, you know, the game might be tied or even a bucket ahead right now.
Right, absolutely. And some factors that people, you know, when you think of a team losing by a certain amount of points or trailing by a certain amount of points, you tend to think, oh, they just didn't shoot as well. That's just not necessarily the case most of the time. A lot of times that point differential ends up being the difference in turnovers and free throws missed. Those major factors. Now, I'm going to take you back to the Mary Washington game a couple weeks back for Southern Virginia when they had 11 turnovers in the first quarter. I'm going to call a foul here on Haley Page. But again, they had 11 turnovers in the first quarter against the Eagles of Mary Washington. And because of those 11 turnovers, that just created a point differential that they just couldn't overcome. And eventually they got tired and Mary Washington began to extend the lead. But again, you really want to limit those because you just don't want to put yourself in the hole early. A 3 here, no good. Brought down by Savoon, and that is a hard foul by Maddie Kimball. That is Kimball's first.
No, if I remember correctly, Mary Washington shot very well in that first quarter. So you figure 11 turnovers, you're probably giving up 7-8 possessions to them right there. And if they shot 60%, you know, that's a 12-point lead in the first quarter. That's
pretty much exactly what went down. You're exactly right, Colby. And so now Southern Virginia needs to maintain some momentum here after that stop. Knights spreading it out here. I like that the Knights are spreading out the floor right now. Foster getting it to Page. Up strong, over the right hand and in, ties it up at 8. And Shenandoah coming right back with it. Going up against Newman, who's going to foul her along the baseline. I think she had gotten her hands on her a little bit. But again, what Southern Virginia is doing is they have their 3 guards on the outside, then they have their forwards sort of on the baseline on either side, really trying to make sure that you can get some good penetration and kickouts. And so far, Shenandoah's offense has been all Shawnee's Campbell. They've yet to score without her on the floor. Here's a mid-range jumper, that no good. Rebounded by Page, and a foul called on the Hornets. That is Kayla Maxson.
And you have to wonder how long Shawnee's Campbell is going to sit over on the bench right now for Shenandoah. You know, a little surprised that she went out as early as she did, but it's been a couple minutes now of game time that she's been out. So, you know, really an opportunity here for the Knights to, you know, maybe take a lead and put some distance between themselves and the Hornets.
Well, absolutely. That's the big thing. When you have a player like Shawnee's who's making pretty much everything and just doing a great job offensively, you got to take advantage of when she's not on the floor because every player has to rest. Snyder, the floater just rolling out. I mean, obviously you'd like to be able to shut down Shawnee's Campbell when she is on the floor, but that just hasn't been a reality for the Knights so far. Mid-range jumper, no good. Rebounded by the Hornets. Second chance opportunity here. Foster caught reaching in over the back on the attempted shot by number 23, Sydney Shepos. Going to see some substitutions for the Knights, including Ali Weiland, as well as Cassie Okonkwo. And Okonkwo, you know, Colby, I was telling you before the game, she provides a great calm to this team. Her and Abby Snyder really do a great job. When they control the offense, they slow things down. They basically become the general on the floor. And also, Okonkwo is just a great hustle player as well. First free throw is no good. Second free throw up, and that one falls for Shepos, the sophomore from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So the first points the Hornets have scored without Campbell. Savoon driving in, kick out to, that's gonna be no good. Actually, they're gonna call a travel here on Foster. Another example of catching the ball, then making a jump stop. Which I do appreciate the effort to try to limit that, because that has been a bad habit that all players of all levels have gotten into over the past couple of years. And Kempler will come onto the floor for Foster.
Probably the last 10 or 15 years, you've really seen that become more prevalent.
Yeah,
those extra steps, and it's just one of those things that as a player, you know that pass is coming to you. You got to take that split second before it gets there.
Knocked away by Kempler, but recovered by the Hornets. Up and strong, but an offensive foul will be called on Therese Green, so no basket. And like you said earlier, Colby, I'm really loving the energy that I'm seeing from Southern Virginia so far in the early goings of this one, as you see a substitution for Shenandoah, number 11, Zoe Starr.
Well, this is one of those games that you know they had circled on the calendar, especially after losing to Mary Washington last week.
Yep.
You know, Coach Schroeder, she does a great job of scheduling the non-conference games against high-quality opponents. So once that game didn't go, you know, as well as the Knights would have hoped, you know they were looking to this game to challenge themselves once again against an out-of-conference opponent.
Absolutely, and with that basket from Kempler, the Knights take the first lead of the night, and that's Kempler's first basket. You know, you talk about really challenging themselves. Also last year, Southern Virginia kind of got it handed to them by this same Hornets team, 59-35. And so for that reason too, they're thinking, hey, we want this team again. Saved just from going over and back by Williams. Taken away by Page, and that's going to be knocked out. Stay with Southern Virginia. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Knights leading 10-9, a chance to increase their lead here. Kicked out to Kempler. Pump fake, shot up, no good, off the back of the rim, rebounded by Weiland, puts it on the floor, has to get up. They call travel on Weiland because she had gotten down on the floor, had her knee down, then stood up. I think that's what the refs are looking at here. Here come the Hornets. And that's be passed out of bounds. We saw number 3, Therese Green, make a cut to the basket at the last second. So the Knights once again have a chance. Going with one post, and Kempler, she flashes high post, gets the ball, shot up, back of the rim, no good. Brought down by Shepos. Deep three here. That's up and good for Green. Gotta love the confidence shooting it from that deep. Under a minute to go. Savoon trying to take matters into her own hands, drives into the paint and gets fouled. That was on number 11, that is Starr. Savoon will shoot 2, and Addie Newman will check in place of Allie Weiland. First free throw for Savoon is good, and that is the Knights' first free throw attempt of the night. Again, we talked about getting to the free throw line being so important for Southern Virginia.
Even though that's the first free throw for the Knights of the game, I feel like their movement on offense that is conducive to having more free throw attempts this game. So they may not have gotten there so far in this first quarter, but I think it bodes well for them moving on.
Absolutely, especially since the trend tends to be the longer the game goes on, the more fouls tend to be called down the line. Newman trying to cradle that one. The Knights not able to come away with any points aside from that free throw from Savoon. Driving in, off with the right hand, no good, rebounded by Savoon. 18 seconds in the quarter. Savoon going up with the right hand, weaving through defenders, up and in. Knights need to get back. 10 seconds. Taken away by Newman. Knights with a chance to finish on a run here. Stripped away by the Hornets. And heaved up. That's not going to get close. But the Knights doing a great job of closing out the quarter, now with a 1-point lead against the Hornets of Shenandoah. And again, so far, Colby, I think the word you used earlier is the perfect description of what we're seeing so far. Just a lot of great energy for this Southern Virginia team, especially when we saw Shawnice Campbell step off the floor. They saw it as an opportunity and now have a 1-point lead. Now, you more than expect to see Shawnice Campbell come back onto the floor to start this quarter, try to get more on a roll again. I mean, she ended up with 8 points, 4 for 4 on the floor, really doing a great job offensively and getting the Hornets rolling. But I think so far, if you're Southern Virginia, you think we're on the right track. Still some things to correct, but we're on the right track.
No, absolutely. You know, we talk, you know, turnovers. You know, people at home might be thinking, holy cow, get off the turnovers. But, you know, double digits in that first quarter for the Knights.
Right.
You know, that obviously is something that you cannot sustain. To think that you have 10 turnovers to, you know, 8 by Shenandoah, you're lucky you created that many turnovers. Right?
Especially in those last couple minutes.
Especially those last couple of minutes. But, you know, both coaches on both sides, they're probably telling their players, you cannot sustain this level of turnover.
Right.
You know, we've got to clean it up. You know, value each possession.
Right.
Value each possession on offense, and then work hard on defense and see what you can do turnover-wise there.
I always say that trying to maintain a high level of play while committing a lot of turnovers is like sailing in rocky water and fixing the holes in the boat with duct tape. It's just not going to work no matter what those commercials tell you. And this layup there for Southern Virginia gives the Hornets the ball back. Here's a three. Up, no good for the Hornets. They had one just a couple moments ago to end the quarter. Savoon driving in up with the right hand, no good. Trying to weave through defenders once again. Really had to scoop it from way down low, and that's just hard to make any basket from down there. Back to the basket, knocked away. Eventually corralled by Newman. Advances it ahead to Savoon. Newman in the paint, trying to make something happen. Gets to Weiland. And that's going to go out of bounds. It'll stay with the Knights. Well defended down low by both Campbell as well as Williams, who is, in fact, back on the floor for the Hornets.
You know, the other thing that we talked about earlier, or before the game, Dawson, is the absence of the three-point game for the Knights, you know, and what would that do right now if the Knights could find a couple three-pointers, you know, to open up that paint a little bit better?
It absolutely would. I mean, like you said, the Knights in the mid-20 percentile as far as three-point shooting so far this year, definitely below where they want to be. And a thing about the three-point shot is that obviously a three-point shot is worth more than a two-point field goal. That's the obvious math there. But a big thing about the three-point shot is momentum. When you get to making a couple three-pointers, momentum builds almost as much as a slam dunk does in the NBA. It builds you up and makes you realize, hey, we're on a roll here. It gives you some more confidence. And Southern Virginia just hasn't had that so far. And so one of the things we talked about before the game, Colby, is that if you're Shenandoah, you're trying to force SVU to beat you from the outside, which so far they really haven't done that yet. Southern Virginia's been able to get a bunch of shots on the inside. But I think that's something you definitely want to focus on for the Hornets later on. And knocked away by Foster. Great deny by Asia Foster.
Great defense, that whole possession right there. Shot clock was winding down. Hornets trying to find Campbell. The Knights just buckled down and played great defense.
Foster fadeaway jumper off the glass, rattles out, no good. Rebounded by Campbell.
I think I would have liked to see Foster there. I think she settled a little bit right there.
That deep three off the back of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Foster. Foster doing a great job fighting for positioning.
I think I'd like to see her kind of take Campbell to the hoop a little bit.
And up and good for Weiland. And I absolutely agree with you, Colby. You know, Foster has great athleticism, and she has a great step. She can get a step ahead of many defenders at her position. And I know that Campbell has that strength to her that she can basically push people around. The three up for the Hornets, no good. Rebounded by Weiland. But like you said, Foster can take it to the rim, try to make some athletic plays against Campbell. They're going to call a foul here on the floor against Williams.
You don't know, we don't know yet how well Campbell's going to move laterally, how she's going to react to the athleticism of Foster. So maybe a cheap foul, 2, maybe even 3 fouls, and that would, we've seen how that really opens up the Knights' offense when Campbell's not on the floor.
It's absolutely true. Inbounded to Kempler. Gets to Foster, spins around, trying to get up a shot. No whistle as Foster falls to the ground, and Hornets trying to make it to a fast break opportunity and a turnover. And just moments ago, we saw checking in number 2, Maddie Kimball, as well as 34, Zoe Smith for the Hornets. And for Southern Virginia, we just saw Kempler come in as well. Knights slowing things down. I like what I'm seeing there. Past couple possessions for both teams have been kind of hectic and fast-paced. Trying to get Savoon. She can't handle the pass. It bounces out of her hand and taken away by number 22, Gabby Christo-Fiak. Not really sure what happened there on that pass. I think Savoon kind of just got caught looking ahead of what she wanted to do. Newman can be called with a foul here. That is her second. We'll have 2 more substitutions, 1 for either side, including number 3, Therese Green for the Hornets, and for Southern Virginia, number 12, Cassie Alconcagua, freshman from Fayetteville, Georgia. Kempler nearly taking it away. Savoon finishes the job. 1-on-1. Got Kempler behind her, tries to draw the foul. Kempler goes up for the rebound strong, knocked out of her hand and recovered by Green. Up, no good. Fought for and recovered by Snyder. Getting away from Campbell, great pass to Savoon and knocked away by the Hornets. It'll stay with Southern Virginia. What a hectic series of events there.
Gotta like the hustle there, Abby Snyder jumping to the ground.
Basically weaving through Shawnice Campbell's legs there to get to the ball. Concour gets it to Snyder. Concour for a 3, that is way off. So they'll go back to the Hornets. We'll see Haley Page come back onto the floor. She will fill in for Asia Foster. And we'll see for the first time on the floor tonight, number 10, Emma Camden. Camden, a senior from here in Buena Vista, Virginia. Five and a half minutes remaining in the half. Knights up by 3. And we have yet to see Campbell score since she's been back on the floor. We mentioned moments ago that she had 8 points real quickly in that first quarter. Since then, nothing. 3-pointer up and good for Maddie Kimball. That makes the Hornets 2 for 9 from behind the 3-point line. Kempler gets to Snyder in the paint, goes up the right hand, up and in through the contact. Again, great effort play there from Snyder.
Good play there. She's a scorer. You want to see a little bit more of that from her. A little bit more assertive there because she can score the ball for sure.
I'm going to call a foul here as Kempler was able to take that away. Foul be called on Kimball. That is Kimball's second.
Media
And
timeout.
we'll see checking in number 11, Zoe Starr, in a media timeout here on the floor. The Knights leading 17-15. I want to take this brief break to thank our athletic partners here of Southern Virginia University, including River Crossing Apartments, Straws, Drinks and Eats. We got Mill Creek Orthodontics, Cornerstone Bank, Papa John's, locally owned and operated, Vinyl Cuts, Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express, The Beef, Sweet Souvenirs, and Grace Automotive. Thank you so much for partnering with Southern Virginia Athletics. We appreciate you. And you know, going into this one, after the Mary Washington game a couple weeks ago for Southern Virginia, there was a sort of feeling that, like, there's a lot of work to be done. We need to pick up our energy. We got to, again, we mentioned turnovers. We'll say that till we're blue in the face because it's a major part of the sport. But again, right now, we're just seeing a lot of great defensive effort from Southern Virginia. They're swarming to the ball defensively. They're getting steals, which they hadn't done as much in previous games. And it just feels like they're playing with a higher level of confidence than they have maybe in recent weeks. Even though they've only lost one game so far this year, they're 4-1, they're leading the conference. But it just feels like their confidence has elevated recently.
No, you know, they come off that loss to Mary Washington, then come back with a conference win. You know, the team's still young, too, you know.
Yes.
You've got Maria Saffoon, Abby Rogers, Asia Foster, all sophomores that are starting. Alyssa Weiland, you know, gives them some good leadership. And there you go.
Savoon getting things going from three. The first made three of the night for the Knights. They are 1 for 3.
You know, so even those players saw substantial playing time as freshmen, I think now as they get into their sophomore year, they realize this is our team.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to come down to us.
3, no good. Rebounded by Page. She's going to get it to Snyder. And I love the fact that we saw that step back 3 from Savoon, because again, I talked about the momentum play that a three-point shot is, more so than just getting extra points. Kempler turning around, jumper up, no good, off the front of the rim, rebounded by Campbell.
A good look, though.
Absolutely love to see that. I love to see her face the basket a little bit more early on in the play when she gets the ball, immediately turn and face, see what she has available to her, because, you know, Campbell, she's kind of giving them some space, especially the further outside the paint you get, the more amount of space Campbell gives you. Here's the 3, up, no good. Rebounded once again by Page. Page now with her 5th rebound already in this half.
You know, during that timeout, Dawson, you mentioned steals, and right now, SVU with 9 steals to just 2 by Shenandoah.
Kempler, jumper over Campbell, and again, Campbell's giving her that extra space, and that's out of bounds off of Campbell. I think we might be seeing her subbed out here in just a moment, and indeed we will. Excuse me, slow to get off the floor. And in her placement, number 23, Sydney Shepos. Not sure if Campbell maybe is dealing with something, with like a slight injury or whatnot. Don't want to speculate.
Looks like she's, you know, a little ginger there with one of her hands. She's going back to the locker room right now, actually, as we speak.
And a great pass in the paint to Asia Foster, able to go up with the left hand and extend this lead for Southern Virginia. Mid-range jumper up and good that time for Zoe Starr. No one picked her up after she got off of that screen. Camden with it. The Knights still trying to spread out the floor, which has worked so far for them. Camden coming into the paint. Shot clock winding down. Kick out to Snyder for 3. Off the back of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Foster. Extra possession earned. Page was flashing at the low post. Trying to cut across the post there. Shot clock winding down again. Page has to go up with it. Gets the foul, nearly makes it, but she'll go to the line. The foul is called on number 12, Addison Banks. Freshman from Noakesville, Virginia. We'll see Allie Weiland come in for Maria Savoon. This is Page's first trip to the free throw line today. First free throw is up and good. The Knights are now 2 for 3. Second free throw up and good. Gives the Knights a 7-point lead with just under 2 minutes remaining in the half. Knocked free by Camden. Double team here. Kick out for 3 in the corner. That's up and good that time by number 22, Gabby Kristofiak, junior from Newmarket, Maryland. And that'll bring down the deficit a little bit. What was impressive is that Kristofiak did not have a lot of time to get that three-pointer off and still able to knock it down. A call, moving screen here by Asia Foster. And her feet were moving, so that was the correct call. So now the Hornets with a chance to whittle away further at this lead. The high post. Mid-range jumper up. Rattles out, no good. Rebounded by Snyder. Advancing it ahead to Camden. Here's Foster inside, going up strong, up and in for Foster. Foster now with 8 points in the half. She leads Southern Virginia in scoring. And is also tied with Shawnee's Campbell and leading scoring on the floor altogether. That is an air ball, no good. Taken away by Snyder off the rebound. 14 seconds in the half. Weiland going baseline, trying to reverse layup. Not the quality shot you want to end the half.
Especially with that much time left on the clock. You know, one thing if there's just a couple seconds left, just trying to get it up there for an offensive rebound, but you know, there was time for another pass or two. And as a result, you know, Asia Foster picks up a cheap foul there right at the end of the second quarter.
Clock winding down, floater up, no good, and the Knights would go into the second half up 26-20 over the Hornets of Shenandoah. And again, the Knights really happy with where they're at right now because, Colby, you know, we're talking before the game how impressive of a conference the ODAC is with the amount of dominant teams they have in that conference.
No, absolutely. We talked about Shenandoah, we talked about Washington and Lee. There's a couple others in there as well that are going to figure, you know, by the time the season's over. So to come out here and have this type of, you know, a first half against a team like Shenandoah, that's very promising for the Knights.
It absolutely is, and with that, we'll take a short break for the halftime festivities. We'll be right back here on Knights Broadcasting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the floor your Southern Virginia University dance team. Tonight, they will be performing a special, one-time only Christmas routine. All right, Knight fans, our halftime festivities aren't quite over just yet. Could I have my 6 contestants who have already been chosen to please come down to me? You already picked them. I didn't. Someone else did. I was just told. All right, guys. The game tonight is simple. We're going to play, some call it lightning, some call it knockout, some call it speed. I don't care. We all know the game. We'll start from the free throw line. So, I guess we can go boy, girl, girl, tallest to shortest, oldest to youngest. Ladies first. I don't know. Come on, guys. We've got like 7 minutes. We got to do this quick. Okay, so. Alright, we'll start from the free throw line. After 3 are eliminated, we'll take it back to the 3. Simple game, we all know how it works. No pushing, fighting, shoving, any of that stuff. On you, Francisco, let's go. That's another one out. Another one out. Who's it going to be? For the win! We have our winner! Thank you to all our contestants. Stay tuned, second half coming up. Tonight's athletic department would like to thank the following sponsors for their continued support: Straws Drinks and Eats, Bricks Automotive, Papa John's Pizza, locally owned and operated, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Vinyl Cuts, The Bee, Sweet Souvenirs, Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express, Rivercross Departments, and Cornerstone Bank. A big thank you to all our sponsors.
And we're back for the start of the second half between the Hornets of Shenandoah University and your Knights of Southern Virginia. The Knights currently lead 26-20 over the Hornets. And I'm with my good friend here, Colby Kemp. And Colby, during halftime, you were talking, and Southern Virginia is leading in several statistical categories, all of which have to do with one main word: hustle.
That's right. The effort, the hustle, steals, rebounds, offensive rebounds. So many of those. We saw several plays there where loose balls are on the floor. We saw Knight players diving after those balls. So, I think the message from Coach Schroeder going into this game was, put forth the effort.
Yeah.
You got to work. You can't just go out there and expect teams to let you run your plays, get your shots off. You have to work for everything that you want to get. And so far, it's done well for them so far in this first half as they come away with a 6-point lead after that first half. We talked about the Knights being maybe a little bit fortunate not having to deal with Shanice Campbell for as much of the first half as what they might have otherwise. And
one statistic that really stood out to me when we were going over it was the fact that Southern Virginia is leading in points in the paint as much as they are. Looking right now, 18 for Southern Virginia, 6 for Shenandoah, which again to me is a major shock because again we mentioned Shanice Campbell, who had to step out for a moment at the end of that half. We couldn't really see exactly what was going on, but it was kind of looking like it was sort of a shoulder thing. We saw her warming up for this second half, so it looks like she is good to go. Because again, if she wasn't, that'd be a huge loss for the Hornets tonight in a game where hustle and plays in the paint are defining the game.
No, absolutely. She's definitely going to come back in, try and give it a go. She got some extra treatment in the first part of halftime. She was in the trainer's room. And then actually she was the last player to leave the floor, just taking a couple extra shots there, near the basket to see how that, see how that shoulder felt. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops in the second half. If it was just a stinger type injury that she plays through, or, if there might be some little bit, more, a little bit bigger injury there that might not allow her to play. And quite frankly, she played, not even half of the first half.
Right, that's very true. She had 8 quick points in that first quarter and then sat out for a lot of the rest. We'll see the Hornets with the ball to start this second half. And I want to quickly shout out the rest for tonight's contest. We have Clark Streinsberg, Brian Wallace, and Lynn Kahn. So far doing a fantastic job so far, keeping things civil, calling fouls they need to. Overall, just making solid calls all around so far. I don't think there's been really any complaints on either side. And much respect to officials out there. It's one of the toughest jobs as far as, I call it sort of it's not a people-pleasing job, it's customer service basically, because you deal with complaints all the time.
Both sides can complain all the time, and like you said, I think one of the main jobs of the officials is to manage the game. Don't go out there expecting to blow your whistle every time that you could, but just manage the game, manage the physical contact.
And speaking of physical contact, Shanice Campbell, they went to her right away. Seems like she is right as rain. Goes up strong between 2 defenders, knocks down a basket, and that's a good sign for the Hornets. Here's Newman going baseline, having to wrap around here. Weiland tries to feed it down low to Savoon, which if you're going to try to feed a player down low, it's probably not the best idea to feed it to Savoon, surrounded by a couple defenders. Knights scrambling to get back. Corner 3 for the Hornets, no good. Rebounded by Newman. Once again, rebounding being a big factor for Southern Virginia so far. Again, the Knights trying to force it inside. Snyder going up strong with a shot, and is fouled by number 3, Therese Green. And we'll see Haley Page come back onto the floor for Southern Virginia. Speaking of Haley Page, she led the way for both teams in rebounding with 5 rebounds in that first half, along with 4 points. That puts her at 3rd in scoring for Southern Virginia.
No, Haley Page came in and put in some good minutes for the Knights in that first half. No surprise to see her first off the bench here in the second half.
And Snyder makes her first free throw. And like you said, no surprises here coming off the bench so quickly again. She's really, I feel like, made a name for herself as one of those hustle players that just gets the job done. And Paige flying in there trying to get the rebound and is knocked out of bounds. They're going to say it was off of Paige. Campbell slow to get up. But the ball will go back to the Hornets. We're seeing 2 at the high post, 1 at the low post for the Hornets. Trying to set a screen and cut to the basket there. A lot of switching high and low post for the Hornets right now offensively. That's going to be knocked out of bounds off of Foster. But good deny on the entry pass.
Very good. Asia Foster has a lot of length there. His long arms really helped her right there. Be able to reach and knock that ball out of bounds.
Floater up, no good. Rebounded by Foster, able to box out. Campbell nearly taken away by Kimball. Gonna call a foul here. I'm gonna say it was on number 1, Emily Williams. She had put out her arms to try to contain Savoon. And that is her 3rd foul of the game. She had a couple of early fouls in the first quarter. So the Knights will still have the ball with 24 seconds on the shot clock. Foster working baseline against Campbell. Kicks it out to Snyder for 3. That is up and boom! Knocking it down is Snyder. Once again, the Knights able to get a 3 that is. It's been rare to see that for Southern Virginia this year. Knocked out of bounds again. A great deny from Addie Newman. And just looking at this game so far, you just got to know that the Knights practiced all week long. Deny, deny, deny. Getting in there, trying not to go over the top. And a floater up, no good. But fouled on the shot is Maddie Kimball. They're going to call it on Haley Page.
And checking in for the Hornets, number 23.
I see a substitution, number 23, Sydney Chapose.
Kimball at the line, shooting 2.
And Kimball will shoot 2. First free throw is up and good.
Good to see Abby Rogers knock down that 3-pointer. You know, good 3-pointer, just came within the offense, wasn't forced or anything like that. You know, the Knights don't need, you know, all of a sudden become a 3-point shooting team.
Right.
But just be able to hit those within the offense every now and then, keep the defense honest. You know, is really going to open up that paint.
Absolutely. You know, Snyder is one of those players that can just knock it down on any given moment. Is just able to take advantage of the opportunities, like you said. You know, you don't have to knock them all down, knock a bunch of 3-pointers down in one game in order to win the game, but you just make the ones that are quality and open. And Snyder's able to do that. And you see on that pass, she's trying to get into the paint to Newman, and she immediately looked over at Coach Lynette Schroeder, basically shook her head saying, I know that was a bad idea. That was not a good idea at all.
Although it did draw another foul on Shenandoah.
It did. Kempler, high post. Pump fake, step through, up with the right hand, no good. Great move by Kempler. Got Campbell to jump, just not able to capitalize. Great fast break offense there, executed by Therese Green and Gabby Kristofiak. So the Hornets bring it back within 4. Savoon for 3. Off, no good, rebounded. Taken away by Snyder. It's going to be a jump ball. It'll stay with the Knights. Another hustle play. That's not one that'll go down in any statistic or anything like that, but it's one of those that can help maintain momentum or change momentum. You love to see it.
It gained another possession.
Exactly.
Yeah, right there.
Inbounded to Newman, had to reach for that ball, and Campbell getting on the ground to reach at it. Snyder knocking it out of bounds. So it'll go back to the Hornets. I like the idea. You had Newman cutting to the basket. She had somewhat of an opening. It was just passed a little bit too far to the inside. But now we'll see if the Hornets can continue to respond and chip away at this lead. There's Kimball. Mid-range jumper up, no good. Rebound by Snyder, passes it right back to Campbell, trying to save it. And a timeout called by Southern Virginia as the Hornets have brought it back to within 2. So a timeout will be called. Again, a 2-point game right now. I want to take a quick moment to thank our athletic partners here in Buena Vista, Virginia, including River Crossing Apartments, Straws Drinks and Eats, Mill Creek Orthodontics, Cornerstone Bank, Papa John's locally owned and operated, Vinyl Cuts, Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express, The Beef, Sweet Souvenirs, and Grace Automotive, where SVU students and staff can receive 10% off their automotive repair needs. We appreciate your support of Southern Virginia athletics here. And again, so far we're seeing some good response from Shenandoah. The Knights have gotten a couple shots to fall, including that 3 from Abby Snyder. But Shenandoah doing a good job of building back, chipping away with it, not panicking, I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Yeah, they're not going to go away. You know, now we've seen Shanice Campbell being able to play his first 3 minutes, 14 seconds in the second half. You know, I don't know that she's 100%, but she shows that she's got enough that she can be out there. She's a force that's going to have to be reckoned with, regardless of whether she's 100% or 75% or whatever, you know, her health is right now. But you know, with her being out there, you know, at least right there, she showed she's able to put a layup, you know, into the hoop. So, you know, the Knights, you know, they just have to withstand this right here and understand this is the type of game they wanted anyway. You know, if you told Coach Schroeder that, you know, 6:40 left in the third quarter, it's 30 to 28, and you have the lead, I think she'd have been happy to hear that.
Oh, absolutely. You mentioned Shanice Campbell. She is still indeed perfect. 6 for 6 on the floor with 3 rebounds and 4 blocks so far. And going in, trying to get another steal. She has 3 steals on the night, and the jump ball will make it Hornets ball. So again, the Knights losing track of the ball and having another unforced error there. Driving in is Kimball, trying to step through up, no good. She's gonna be fouled on the shot and go to the free throw line. I like that aggressive take there from Kimball. She really took it to the defense. She saw the opening and did not hesitate. And we'll see Campbell leave the floor. We'll have Emily Williams come onto the floor in her stead. So again, much like in the first quarter, when Campbell comes off the floor, as Southern Virginia, do you take advantage of that? Do you go on a little run on your own as that first free throw from Kimball goes down?
And one thing, you know, we mentioned there during the break, you know, between the two of us, was that the Knights, you know, only had 2 turnovers in that second quarter.
Newman for 3, no good. Rebounded by Kempler. Turning around, up and 1. Kempler able to fight through the contact to make the shot. And I love that you brought that up, Colby. The fact they only had 2 turnovers in that second quarter compared to, I believe it was 10 in the first. 12, you're correct.
No, 10, that's right.
Yeah.
It was 10 and then 2, and now we already have 4, you know, in the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, you know, so.
Yeah, and that second quarter is when they were able to go on that run and take that lead, which, again, when you don't commit turnovers, when you don't give the other team extra possessions, it tends to play in your favor. Shocking concept, I know. It's harder to do than it is to say. That's the basket here. Outside, here's a 3. I think it was tipped by Kempler, brought down by Snyder. Advances ahead to Newman through the contact. Newman wisely pulls it out. Tries to feed it inside to Kempler. Great defense that time by Shipos. Advanced ahead to Kristofiak. They're going to call a timeout here for Shenandoah. Coach Linnett and Brett Schroeder are trying to say that the pass, trying to save it from going out of bounds, hit underneath the basket, so it should be out of bounds, is what their argument is. So they're going to say it's a timeout here with 5 minutes and 21 seconds left in the third quarter. There's a well-timed timeout because that possession was kind of falling apart for the Hornets and not really going anywhere.
No, it didn't seem to be going anywhere. Coach jumped up just in time to call that timeout.
Indeed. Coach Melissa Smeltzer-Kraft doing a good job of making sure to save her team's possession that time, making sure that in a tight game like this, you do not waste a possession. So again, now the Knights with a 3-point lead here. And we mentioned how, again, 2 turnovers in the second quarter, and now I believe that makes 5 here in this quarter alone, already doubling their second quarter totals and a little bit more. And a lot of that comes down to, they're making some good plays, but I think sometimes they may be getting a little ahead of themselves and trying to make some more things happen and try to make some extra magic happen when you just need consistency. You need to do what you did in the second quarter. If you do what you did in the second quarter and you don't have to worry about Shanice Campbell being out there, which right now that is the case, then again, just do your thing.
It's just like that last possession they had down there, that pass into Ruth Kempler. Probably should have been a lob up and over the top. You know, you can put that up there pretty high. She's going to be able to go get that. Instead, tried for the bounce pass, which allowed the defense to sneak in and put her finger on it.
Kimball, the 3-pointer, no good. Rebounded that time by Williams. So, extra possession. Floater up, and it's going to rattle in that time for Therese Green. Brings it back within 1. Wyland try to feed it inside to Kempler once again. Going baseline up, and good move by Kempler. Pump fake on the way up and making it.
It's a good move there by Kempler.
And again, with moves like that, we've seen Kempler be a lot more confident in that than last year in her freshman year. Again, I love talking about the progress we've seen from Kempler as a player, and brought down by Snyder and fouled by Kimball. And we'll see checking in for the first time for Shenandoah, number 44, Maya Martin, a 6-foot freshman from Evanston, Virginia. She will come in for Cindy Shipos. And then Haley Page will check in. And we'll have a 1-and-1 for Abby Snyder, and I believe that is who Emma Camden will be subbing in for here in just a moment. Again, we talked about Haley Page for Southern Virginia and the work that she has done with, 5 rebounds so far. The first free throw from Snyder is good. Extends it to a 4-point lead. And that foul for Kimball is her 3rd. Second free throw for Snyder is good. Brings Snyder's scoring total to 8 points so far. She ties Asia Foster. I think Shenandoah realized that during Campbell's absence, they needed that physicality and that size in the paint. Hence the decision to put in Maya Martin.
That'll be interesting to see what type of defense she's able to play against Ruth Kempler. That last time down, Ruth Kempler very easily went past the defense for that layup, which is exactly when Maya Martin came up off the bench when Coach Smeltzer-Kraft saw that.
Williams, jump shot over Kempler, that is good. So 4 minutes in the 3rd. The Knights up by 3. Good ball movement here from Southern Virginia. Newman goes with the floater off the glass, no good, rebounded by Williams. Advanced ahead to Green. Up with a layup and in. Brings it back within 1. The Hornets doing a great job of, as soon as they get the ball back, looking down the floor and making plays. And working. Shot clock and a travel called on Kempler. Again, she got the ball, then jump stopped. And Asia Foster will come in for Kempler. Here on the bench, Kempler's got a great shot, and Coach Schroeder just saying, hey, just shoot that. Don't try to make a move in the paint. At that point, just shoot that. That's where you practice shooting all the time. Newman reaching in, taking it away. Got a fast break chance here. Up the layup and in.
You gotta like that as a player, to have your coach tell you, hey, shoot that.
Oh, yeah.
You can make that.
I've had that told to me in high school, and that's the greatest feeling in the world. It shows that there's confidence in your ability to knock that down. Here's the three, up and good that time for Williams, and ties it up at 38. Camden going inside and is fouled on the way up, knocked to the ground. She'll go to the line. The Hornets are now 4 for 16 from behind the arc. And we'll see some more substitutions for the Hornets, including Shawnice Campbell, as well as Gabby Kristofiak. And we'll see Zoe Starr. Camden's first free throw is up and good. Camden, the senior from right here in Buena Vista, Virginia. Second free throw up, rattles out, no good. Rebounded by Williams. And Colby, we have multiple Buena Vista natives here on this roster, including Emma Camden as well as Anna Clater, freshman. Went to Perry McClure High School just down the road.
Yeah, Anna Clater was a very good basketball player for Perry McClure, as was Anna Camden.
That one good for number 13, Kayla Maxon.
A very good athlete. Anna's older sister, Katie, plays with us on the softball team. She was a first team all-conference as a freshman.
So you can say athleticism runs in the family.
Absolutely.
Taken away that time by Campbell.
Good athletes, good people.
Absolutely. And now with the Hornets having the 1-point lead, trying to maintain at Southern Virginia, trying to make sure they don't allow this run to continue any further. Once again, we're seeing a great job by Foster denying in the paint. Coming off the screen, that shot good that time for Maxon. And Coach Lynette Schroeder recognizing that the Hornets are heating up from the outside. And, you know, you gotta love that, you know, Maxon coming off that screen, having that immediate opening, because, you know, Shawnice Campbell, she sets a great screen. And when you had that space, she took it immediately, had the confidence to knock it down.
Well, really shooting off a screen, you know, becoming kind of a lost art. You know, you just don't see a whole lot of that anymore. So much of basketball's gone the way of create your own shot, a lot of run and gun. But, you know, to see a good offense work its way through to a good shot and a player that's willing to be patient, come off the screen, get a pass, you know, those are the open shots that you're going to get.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And, you know, looking at some statistics right now, Southern Virginia had 3 more shots taken in that first half than Shenandoah. Shenandoah now has 42 attempted shots compared to Southern Virginia's 41, and their shooting percentage has gone up to about 40.5%. 3-point about 25%, so still not great, but knocking down 2 more 3-pointers than Southern Virginia has so far tonight. And again, really just starting to heat up shooting-wise, and Southern Virginia needs to make some things happen. Put across to Savoon for 3. No good, rebounded by Williams. There's going to be a foul called on Haley Page. That's 4 on Page.
You know, and then just one more thing on those stats is this third quarter, you know, 7 night turnovers to just 1.
And again,
just 1 turnover to Shenandoah.
That makes all the difference. That's a big reason why Shenandoah now has the lead. Campbell turning around. That is our first miss of the night, but rebounded by the Hornets. And a foul is called here on Allie Weiland. And that'll send Williams to the line to shoot 2. And Williams has really emerged in this second half as a name to be reckoned with. Just 5 points right now, and Williams has 8 rebounds. First free throw is good. I feel like the last 4 or 5 possessions for Southern Virginia has been Williams who's come down with the rebound to give the Hornets the possession.
Yeah, she's really stepped up her game. You know, we talked about the hustle plays at halftime. You know, she's done her best here in this third quarter to create those hustle plays for Shenandoah. They'll
call a foul here They call it on Campbell. And so that will send, I believe, Asia Foster to the free throw line. That is Campbell's first. First free throw for Foster is no good. You know, we talked about before the game how Campbell has had a fantastic couple of games. As Foster goes up for her second free throw. That is up off the back of the rim, no good, rebounded by Campbell. But this being the third game of this stretch, in 3 games, Campbell has missed 2 shots and has taken quite a bit of them.
It's quite the stretch of basketball.
And trying to make a move there that time is Maxon. Turnover for the Hornets, a rare one in this half. So 19.8 seconds left in the half. The Knights wanting to get the final shot, build some momentum for the fourth and final quarter. Double screen here. Savoon trying to take it inside, up with the left hand and in. Well set up by the screens at the top of the key. Had to put up a long shot there. Off the backboard and in. The Knights were kind of easing off a little bit because they figured she'd have to put up a half-court shot in the barn. That's a difficult shot to make, but then she's able to use the glass and make it a 6-point lead for the Hornets. I mean, talking about a quarter for Shenandoah.
About a quarter, right? Turning back and forth there.
I mean, turning it around from scoring 8 points in the second quarter to scoring 24 in the third.
27. 27. Yep, mine's
good.
updated 27 there in that third quarter. So,
I mean, that's what a. I just gotta say it again. What a quarter for Shenandoah, responding after being down in the first half. You know, things were not looking up for them. You know, Shawnice Campbell was dealing with some injuries and wasn't able to play most of that first half. And now all of a sudden you're building up this momentum. You're shooting well from the outside. You're getting steals. You're getting rebounds with Williams. Now you hope to see Southern Virginia have their own version of that third quarter to close things out.
Absolutely, they don't need 27 points here. Well, unless Shenandoah is going to score, 30, 32.
And if they're giving out the extra possessions, I mean, might as well.
But the main thing is get back to what got them to that lead at halftime. And Shenandoah, for their part, they're happy. They did a lot of that in the third quarter without Shawnice Campbell.
Yeah. And the Knights starting off the fourth quarter with the ball. With limited time in this game, only 1 quarter left. Kind of situation where you need to establish clean basketball and good rebounding, effort plays like we mentioned that Southern Virginia did a great job in the second quarter. Foul called here. That is Maxon, senior from Mechanicsville, Virginia. And that is her second foul of the game. Foster, mid-range jumper, back of the rim, no good, rebounded by Weiland. Good kick out to Newman. So dribbling in. Weiland for 3. Back of the rim, no good. Foster for the rebound, up and in. Great possession for Southern Virginia, able to get a couple of shots in, a couple of good quality shots, able to get the rebound, and finally make one. Going up for the jumper, at that time it's good for Maggie Rookman. And the paint was wide open in front of her and had no problem pulling up for that shot.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Shawnice Campbell's not in the game to start this fourth quarter. But, that's what you're going to look for if you're Southern Virginia is for Shenandoah to knock down those outside shots right now.
Right.
So time to pick up the defense, come away with some steals. The offense is going to be on that perimeter, so if you can knock the ball away a little bit, you come away with some layups.
Absolutely. Asia Foster called for that foul. We'll see Taylor Miyazaki on the floor for Southern Virginia for the first time tonight. We've talked about her, a big key for Southern Virginia's team beginning of the year last year, had a season-ending injury, or basically season-ending. She came back for the last couple of games, wasn't really able to get a lot of playing time. Here's Foster. Great pass from Savoon. Brings it back within 4. It's a great look in the paint, dumping it over the top. And that's the type of passes we expect to see from Southern Virginia in the paint compared to some of the ones we saw earlier in the year. Spin move, trying to go up with the left hand. I guess they'll call it as a block for Snyder, advancing it ahead to Snyder. Savoon getting it up with the left hand. I think they're going to call it a foul on the floor. They're going to call that on Williams, and that is her 4th. And we'll see a substitution of Green and Campbell.
Yeah, smart play there by Savoon. I think she was going to drop that off for a layup. She had, I think, Taylor Miyazaki just off her left. And she heard that whistle and decided to throw the shot up, see if it would go in or not.
Yeah, get that continuation, right?
That's right.
First free throw is good for Savoon. Savoon now with 9 points in the game. Make that 10. They're going to call for a shot. They're going to say, I think they're going to say that Savoon went over the free throw line on the shot. Maybe moved to get a rebound before the shot touched the rim. So it will not count. And Savoon is going to get caught shoving Kimball in the back. I think that was more so of Kimball slowing down, realizing that she was trying to hustle her way back. And the smart play on Kimball's part, drawing the foul. Whether that was the intention or not.
Yeah, I think that was the intention.
Good feed inside, no good. She was fouled on the second attempt. And they're going to call that on Snyder. And that will send Brooklyn to the line. Really hadn't seen a whole lot of her until the 4th quarter. She knocked down a jumper just a few moments ago. First free throw is good. The Hornets are now 7 for 9 for 77.8% of the free throw. Second one is good. It's now a 5-point lead. Miyazaki driving in with a floater off the glass, rebounded by Campbell. I think Miyazaki expected a little bit more resistance on that floater and put a lot of muscle into it. Campbell driving in, good kick out to Green. Trying to get it inside to Campbell, taken away by Miyazaki. Good cut to the basket for Snyder, up with the hook shot, no good, brought down by Brooklyn. I like the thought process there personally. I think they had a really good idea there. And Snyder with the hook shot nearly falling in. Feeding inside to Campbell. Up, blocked by Foster. Savoon going up with the right hand underneath the defender's arm, and that is good. 3-point game. Campbell trying to spread things out. Here's Green. I think that was tipped on the shot. Brought down, up and in that time for number 23, Sydney Chapos.
It's got to be strong on those rebounds.
Miyazaki saw that Brooklyn was going for it and decided to pull her hand away, but ended up hitting her on the shoulder going out of bounds. She'll be replaced by Haley Page.
I like this move by Coach Schroeder here, bringing Haley Page in. She's got 4 fouls, but there's 5 minutes, 43 seconds left. She's a hustler. if she picks up that 5th foul, she picks it up. But it just lets her kind of just play with reckless abandon. Got to be smart.
Yes.
But go out there, make a couple hustle plays for us. That's what the Knights need right now. A couple hustle plays. Pick up a couple cheap possessions here.
Page working defense against Williams. Trying to get it inside to Campbell, and it's going to go out of bounds off her foot.
And her, Page with Peters there on the back of Campbell. It's going to be difficult for Campbell to catch that ball and go for a shot.
Snyder, top of the key. Savoon got her defender to jump without even taking a pump fake. Snyder for 3. No good. Page is going to run in, try to save it, and Williams is going to recover it. Again, another hustle play, like you mentioned before, from Page. Here's Green for 3. That is good. And a timeout called for Shenandoah. Make it 56-48. And that 3 is a little bit of a dagger. Still plenty of time, just under 5 minutes to go, but that's one of those plays where you feel like Southern Virginia's hustling, and then they were able to knock it down even with a defender in her face.
Yeah, good ball movement there by Shenandoah. They found the player that they wanted. Therese Green, she's hit. It was on her 2nd or 3rd three-pointer. At least a couple. She's been their best outside shooter overall tonight. And she's able to knock that down. But, Coach Schroeder is telling the players right now, you got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
8 points, it's nothing in that time. It's just a matter of execution. They're playing tough defense.
Absolutely, and with that 3-pointer, you saw Therese Green be the 2nd player for Shenandoah to reach double digits in scoring with 10 points for her. She's just behind Shawnice Campbell, who has 12 points still. Campbell really not able to do a whole lot. Actually, she's the 3rd to get in double digits along with Emily Williams. But as the focus has been on Campbell so far, and they've limited her to an extent, it's gone to the outside, able to knock down those outside shots, like you mentioned. And Green from 3 so far, she is 2 for 3, so 66.7%. She's got 2 rebounds, 3 assists. She's also got 3 personal fouls, and so now with an 8-point lead here, Shenandoah looking to defend the rim here. Southern Virginia needed something to kickstart some momentum. Savoon step back 3. Off the side of the rim, no good. Brought down by Snyder. And Savoon did knock one down from there earlier, and so that's definitely in her range. Page going in strong. Off the glass, no good, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds by number 22, Gabby Kristofiak. And for the first time in a while, we will see Ruth Kempler back on the floor for Southern Virginia, giving Foster a well-deserved break. Snyder outside for 3. Off the front of the rim, no good. Page fighting for it. She gets it, hands it to Snyder. Goes inside, off the glass, and in with the foul. So many hustle plays right there just happened. Page getting on the floor, getting the ball. Snyder going up to her, getting the ball from her, taking the foul, knocking down the shot.
Just great presence of mind by Haley Page, too. Being there on the ground, it's hard to figure out. You got to keep your body still. You don't want to get caught for traveling. She was able to see Abby Snyder there and just shuffle her the ball.
Free throw is good for Snyder. And like I said, it's hard to keep yourself focused in that situation because at that point, everyone looks like the opposite team to you. You're trying to be a little frantic. But like you said, recognizing Snyder's coming through, hand it off to her for a very unconventional assist. That mid-range jumper, no good. Rebounded by Savoon. Knights down by 5.
Oh, Knights just need to be patient. They've been able to get their shot pretty much all night long. So there's no need to rush things.
Kempler facing basket, gets it to Page. Goes up strong. Off the glass, no good. Rebounded by Williams. And we see once again Maya Martin on the floor for the Hornets. And I think right now the Hornets are more than content to slow things down, try to feed it to the inside, get some good mid-range shots. And again, just take their time. Kick out, mid-range on the left side, no good. Rebounded by Snyder. That is Snyder's 10th. Feed ahead to Kempler, feed inside to Page. Up, no good, rebounded by Page again. Off the glass, no good. Rebounded that time by Krzysztofiak. So 2 chances at the glass there for Page with the contact, not able to knock it down. And that's going to go out of bounds. It's going to be SVU ball. We'll see Shanice Campbell come back onto the floor, as well as Asia Foster. And again, that's a great strategy there. You see Shanice Campbell's come back on the floor to finish out the game most likely. So you're going to have both Asia Foster and Ruth Kempler on the floor at the same time. Maybe get some mismatches, especially down in the low post.
You see right now that Williams there, she's going to try and match up against Foster, and that's a definite mismatch. Foster's got about 4 or 5 inches on her.
Trying to feed it inside to Newman. She tries to go up immediately. No good. Rebounded by Williams, who gets her 12th rebound of the game. Once again, the Hornets more than content to hold on to the ball as long as they can. 10 seconds on the shot clock now. Kimball working on Savoon. Deep 3. No good. Touched by Snyder, trying to bring it down, so it'll stay with the Hornets. Now, the territory you're in right now, it could be dangerous where they're holding onto the ball, so you're kind of tempted to go out and expand defensively, so you can have some people cutting to the basket, make it really easy to slice apart your defense. Campbell working against Kempler. There's a 3 from Williams. Up and good. Again, Williams with 10 points now, along with 12 rebounds, a double-double for her. Snyder trying to dump it off, and it's taken away by Campbell. 1.5 minutes remaining now. Newman was close to intercepting that one. Definitely tempted the idea of going for it. Good feed inside. And Snyder's going to get called for the foul, as we saw Zoe Starr potentially going to go up for a shot. I'm going to say that Snyder hit her on the head. The Hornets were going to sub in number 22, Gabby Krzysztofiak, but decided against it. Eight seconds on the shot clock. Kimball trying to drive in off her foot. Starr for 3. No good. Rebounded by Foster. 1 minute left. Not a lot of time. They need something fast. Knights using a lot of time here. Savoon puts it up off the glass. No good. Rebounded by Starr. And I think with that, that will probably do it.
That's probably going to do it tonight here. The Knights, hard fought, saw some very bright spots.
And you know, we mentioned how good of a conference the ODAC is. Campbell with it at the top of the key. Here's Kimball, mid-range jumper, a foot on the 3-point line. Kempler gets it to Snyder. 10 seconds left. Trying to go for a last second shot, blocked by Campbell. And again, that will do it. The Hornets complete the comeback. They were down by 6 after the first half. There were some questions about Shawnee's Campbell, was she going to be able to go? And then they had the fantastic 27-point third quarter that at the end of the day just proved to be too much for Southern Virginia to overcome. But I was beginning to make a point about the ODAC being such a strong conference. And again, Shenandoah only lost to Mary Washington, number 25 in the country, by 1 point last week. And I think Southern Virginia, for them, even though you had this game in hand at some points, you're really disappointed they weren't able to finish it out. I think, like you said, a lot of bright spots, and you kind of look at the film of this game and think, we now know what it takes to compete, and that we can compete with teams of high caliber like teams like Shenandoah or Mary Washington for that matter.
No, absolutely. I think there were just a couple stretches there in the third quarter, and then again here in this fourth quarter between minutes 3 and 4, you know, where they got to within those 3 points, and they had opportunities, and that's just where, you know, we talked about them still being a little young. You know, Maria Savoon, Abby Rogers, or Abby Snyder, you know, Asia Foster. You are the team. Yeah. You know, there isn't a Courtney Olson like last year. That's going to be the go-to person. You know, it's you guys. This is your team. You know, grow into it, and they will. Yeah. And they will. But it's going to be, you know, nights like this where they learn that, and they're going to be better for it.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of it comes down to Southern Virginia. They've done a much better job over the past couple weeks just getting those hustle plays. We talked about those statistics at halftime. You know, rebounding was fantastic. You know, getting steals. Turnovers were hit and miss. First quarter, not great. Second quarter, did a much better job. And a little bit more inconsistent down the road throughout the rest of this game. And again, for me, as you move to 4-2, you're still undefeated in the USA South Conference. You're 3-0 in conference play. And, you know, Shenandoah moves on to 7-2 on the year. But again, you're still feeling good about yourself. Again, you want that win in the win column. But a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to take away from it. And again, just proving that you can play tough. I think that for me, that's the thing I'm taking away from it if I'm a Southern Virginia fan,
overall,
player, or coach.
You're progressing in season.
Yes.
That's what you want. You know you're still young. You know, 3-0 in conference play is a great start. You know, number one goal is win conference.
Yes.
And try and be playing at your best in that conference championship game. You know, where if you can win that, move on to the NCAA tournament, and hopefully, you know, and that's just the progression of the team right there. Right. So I think, you know, overall, it's a little disappointing to lose, but overall, you know, it's positive to see the team is progressing the way you would want to see them progress during the season.
Absolutely. And with that, that'll do it. This will be the last women's basketball broadcast here on Knights Broadcasting for the year of 2023. We'll be back on January.